The Silent Reset: Two Worlds Under the Same Sky by Ananya Teresa Varghese, BSc Statistics. What if the world you know is quietly being rewritten? Who's holding the pen? For the concept, New World Order, NWO, refers to a shifting or restructured global power system, typically involving major changes, political, social, economic, or military alliances, often following crises like wars, economic collapses, or technological revolutions. The theme of power shifts: the evolutionary journey that happens simultaneously with innovation, which happens due to the shift of power, included the control, influence, or authority moves from one group to another over time. History: the history of the NWO reflects a continuous evolution of global power dynamics. After World War II, the world transitioned into a bipolar system marked by the Cold War rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. The eventual dissolution of the USSR paved the way for US dominance, establishing a unipolar order that defined global politics for decades. However, this dominance began to face significant challenges with the rise of BRICS nations, which collectively represents a push forward a more balanced, multipolar world. The COVID pandemic intensified existing global inequalities and reshaped alliances, triggering economic and political shifts that exposed the fragility of the old systems and accelerated the push for a new order. Globalization digitally. Whatsoever happened on the past is critically acclaimed and discussed by us over the times. But the global monopoly of digital empire is a strong force to be undermined. The most silent and insidious shift in the NWO comes not through armies or alliances, but through algorithms and data empires. In the name of connectivity and progress, digital globalization has created an invisible empire ruled by the tech giants and surveillance states. Today, a few corporations hold more influence over people's behavior, choices, and even democracies than many governments. The line between digital freedom and digital colonization is blurring. Having we traded our national sovereignty for convenience and Wi Fi? As the world cheers on innovation, it is silently drifting into a new digital imperialism where global data follows are controlled, manipulated, and monetized by powerful actors, mostly headquartered in the West or rising techno authoritarian states. In this digital NWO, power no longer comes with territory. It comes with servers, surveillance, and psychological influence. The question is no longer who rules the world, but rather who rules the code that rules the world. Health diplomacy. It refers to the intersection of global health initiatives and international relations where states, non state actors, and international organizations use health aid, cooperation, and negotiations to advance both public health and strategic foreign policy goals. It plays a crucial role in managing pandemics, sharing vaccines, and building medical infrastructure across borders. However, it has increasingly become a tool for soft power competition, where vaccine deals, medical aid, and health infrastructure investments are weaponized for geopolitical gain. The COVID 19 pandemic exposed this duality, with countries like China and the US using vaccine diplomacy to strengthen alliances or gain leverage in regions like Africa and Southeast Asia. Critics argue that health aid is now a Trojan horse, where life saving interventions come tied to economic dependency and political allegiance. Financial sovereignty. It is the ability of a nation to independently control its fiscal and monetary policies, currency, and financial regulations without external interference. For many developing countries, reclaiming financial sovereignty is essential to resist the influence of global financial institutions like the IMF or World Bank, which often impose harsh conditions in exchange for loans. Advocates argue that true sovereignty means being free from structural adjustment programs and speculative attacks from foreign investors. However, the rise of digital currencies and private tech backed monetary systems like Libra by Meta, or even US dollar pegged stablecoins threatens to undermine national currencies and central bank. The real controversy? In an age of fintech and crypto, some believe financial sovereignty is a myth. When even democratically elected governments are dancing to the tunes of corporate billionaires and unregulated digital empires. After understanding the global position in NWO, the scenario and current stance of America and India are also needed to be noted as the centralized power America holds and what our magnitude of influence in this new arena is still questionable. America's position in the New World Order. America continues to play a powerful role in shaping global politics, but its leadership in the New World Order is increasingly questioned. Once seen as the sole superpower, the US now faces growing competition from China and shifting alliances across the world. Critics argue that America's foreign interventions, economic policies, and internal political conflicts have weakened its global image. While it remains influential, there is an ongoing debate about whether the US is adapting to a multipolar world or resisting it. India. India's growing economic and strategic importance has earned it a stronger voice in the evolving New World Order. As a major democracy and counterbalance to China, India is seen as a key player in shaping global norms. However, controversies persist regarding its stance on issues like non alignment, human rights, and its balancing act between the West and Russia. These complexities fuel debates about whether India is reinforcing a multipolar world or complicating global consensus. The New World Order (NWO) is vast. Its threads of power, influence, and global control stretch across diplomacy, warfare, economy, and ideology. To dissect it fully in a single article would be naive. So instead, here's a focused case study to simplify the bigger picture: the Russia Ukraine war, NATO's role, and what it reveals about the shifting architecture of global power. Case study: Ukraine Russia war and the NATO future. The Russia Ukraine war is not just a territorial conflict, it's a friend line manifestation of global power struggle. Russia's invasion in 2022 was framed as a response to NATO's eastward expansion, which Moscow views as a breach of post Cold War promises. The West rallied behind Ukraine, but not without exposing fault lines. Military aid was abundant yet selective, and peace talks repeatedly failed. While Ukraine became a symbol of resistance, it also became a pawn caught between Western military industrial interests and Russian imperial ambitions. Critics argue NATO's involvement isn't purely altruistic. It sustains the war to weaken Russia strategically while fueling a multi billion-dollar arms economy. As NATO continues to expand, possibly inviting more borderland states, the world inches towards a new Cold War dynamic. This time with AI warfare, cyber fronts, and economic sanctions replacing missiles and trenches. In this version of the NWO, peace isn't profitable, stability is negotiable, and chaos is often curated. In times like these, the world feels like it's holding its breath, caught between the ruins of old power and the whispers of something new. We see systems shift, truth unravel, and yet, in all this unrest, there's a rising pulse, quiet but certain, that maybe, just maybe, we are headed toward something better. A world not built on domination but on dignity, not held together by fear but by shared dreams. The lines below are not just poetry, they are a reflection of the world becoming. A world becoming. We wake not just from sleep at dawn, but from the lies we called our own. A world once built on walls and fear now hums with seeds we have slowly sown. The maps are torn, the rules grow thin, yet in the cracks, new light breaks through. Not from the hands of kings or crowns, but from the many, not the few. So let us build, not out of pain, but out of love and clearer skies. The world can turn, if we so will, and rise again where truth still lies.